Hey guys. Yeah, I'm just waiting for my ride here. I got off about 4:45, so I would say about 30 minutes ago. But I wanted to come on here because I wanted to kind of talk about the reactions that, basically talk about the reactions some notable fans in the analysis community, the Rift Cafe, the Brony, Pegasister analysis community have given, from a Dr. Wolf to a Ms. Anthropony, aka Map, and like I said, Dr. Wolf, or as he's known on YouTube and Twitter as Dr. Wolf 001. They have a, I wouldn't say similar opinion on it, but they kind of feel basically the same way about certain moments in there. And to say that the rest of the fandom, from those at the MLP forums to the forums at Equestria Daily and many others, to say that the finale got an overall positive reaction would be saying a lot. But despite some of its flaws and negatives, overall the finale was pretty decent. It was pretty good. Not the best. One fan even did a ranking at the MLP forums of the finales that have come and gone, and they ranked this one at number 3. So, yeah, to say that the finale did its job, like I say, would be an understatement. However, there are flaws, and I think the one flaw that Map pointed out that Dr. Wolf didn't is the fact that the finale was wrote by 2 different writers, writing both parts by themselves. In other words, you have Nicole Dubuc writing part 1, and in case anybody's wondering how you spell her last name, it's Dubuc, Nicole Dubuc. You had her writing part 1, and then you had Josh Haber writing part 2. And Map said that's something, and the way Map looked at it, and I'm sure others agree with him, that's one thing you don't do, because you kind of basically get inconsistency, you get a lack of communication of how a story is supposed to go or flow, what needs to be addressed, address continuity-wise, what needs to stay intact. Basically, to someone like Miss Anthropony Map, that's a major no-no. Heck, he used an example of, what if somebody would have done the original Star Wars trilogy that way? It wouldn't have worked. The original Star Wars trilogy wouldn't be the classic masterpieces they are today. And then, of course, he looked at The Last Jedi and don't remind me or anybody else about that. But you kind of get the point that Map was getting at. Map did come out and say that he thoroughly enjoyed the episode. He loved Cozy Glow as a villain. But he felt that the one thing that held it back was, you had both parts written by 2 different writers individually. And the fact that if there's one thing him and Dr. Wolf will agree on, is the fact that it felt rushed. And I'm sure a lot of folks would agree on that too. It felt very rushed. And I'm not going to say that it didn't, because, it did feel like we were going from one place to another, without any kind of, wondering how this happened, how that happened kind of deal. And yeah, adding to what they said about it feeling rushed and seeing it kind of yourself, or for myself, I should say, I can see where they're coming from. But then again, a lot of people said that Twilight becoming a princess, becoming an alicorn in Magical Mystery Cure was a bit rushed. Like, hey, we didn't have enough time to digest what's going on. All of a sudden, so all of a sudden, one moment she's poof in a kind of astral plane kind of existence with Celestia, and then the next moment she's an alicorn. It's like boom, 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 boom. It's like got to keep going kind of deal. not having the time to really digest what's going on situation. A lot of people might say it feels similar to that. But you got to remember what Megan McCarthy said when it came to that moment. She said that was just the first part in a 3-part story. Because the second parts, part 2 and part 3, were like I said, part 2 and part 3 were a part of the season 4 premiere. So who's to say that the Twilight situation isn't similar to this? Who's to say that the story feeling as rushed as it isn't being planned out to get continued on in maybe the season 9 premiere? I'm just saying, just think about that. What if we get a follow-up in the season 9 premiere, and the season 9 premiere is a 2-parter? Who's to say we won't get a follow-up? Because you got to look at it this way. You go back to Magical Mystery Cure, and we got an episode that felt rushed, didn't give people time to digest what was going on. And then all of a sudden you have the follow-up episodes, the next 2 episodes that act as part of this one big arc. And those 2 episodes don't feel rushed. They don't feel like you can't enjoy a moment or can't digest a moment, because you can. It feels very, as some people would say, well-paced. And that's basically what I feel here. That we're getting that kind of sorry about that, but we're kind of getting a similar situation, it feels like, to where we have to probably get a follow-up, or we might get a follow-up to this whole ordeal. Bleh. All right, sorry about that. But like I said, it looks possibly that we're going to get a follow-up to this whole ordeal. That's what it feels like to me. And when she was doing a Q&A on Twitter yesterday, while she was out walking her dog and she was going to answer the questions when she got back home, I asked Nicole Dubuc, will we get a follow-up to this in season 9 in some ways? And Nicole basically said, my hashtag NDA will not allow me to say anything. Well, she said a little bit more than that, but basically, flat out, she said her hashtag NDA will not allow her to disclose any information about what's going to be or what's not. And something tells me, when she says something like that we are going to probably get a follow-up. So I'd be on the lookout for that. So yes, did this feel a little rushed, I should say? Absolutely. But guess what? Just because it felt rushed doesn't mean there's more to that. Doesn't mean it's the end of it. It just means there might be more to it. Now, the other positives people gave, Wolf and I think Anthropony and others gave this episode, was the artisticness. Basically how much time and effort was put into the details of the backgrounds and even the characters. They gave it much praise. And for me, when I look at it, especially the way the entrance to Tartarus was designed, the inside of Tartarus, the way, the hill or the road that the main 6 had to take to get to Tartarus, it felt almost very, in a sense, movie quality like. I'm not saying it's Toon Boom quality, but I'm just saying it felt very, very feature-length film-like. It really did. So I will give A's and props to that. The other thing probably the biggest thing that Map and Dr. Wolf, and I'm sure others would, and a majority of folks have actually agreed, is probably the biggest positive and out of this, is Cozy Glow herself. I mean, Cozy Glow is basically, and I said this before in an audio video, I said she is the villain She's that one villain that is, or now was, what MLP needed. Because you take a look at her, and even Dr. Wolf kind of echoed my sentiments when I talked about it. Basically, she is the kind of character, the kind of villain you want that seems to be a step ahead of her adversaries, no matter how you look at it. She always seems to be a step ahead. Even if something kind of has to be alternated, she finds a way to alternate it. She finds a way to stay a step ahead of her opponents, of the heroes or the heroines in this case. She always finds a way to stay a step ahead. I mean, he even said some of the things that I kind of echoed. He kind of echoed some of the things I pointed out in my early review of the episode. You know, he talked about Dr. Wolf basically talked, and I think Map even said this, and other people have said this. It's like she stayed a step ahead even when she had to alter her plans. Like when it was revealed to her that Starlight was going to stay behind to watch the school, yeah, she was disappointed, but she came up with an alternative. Almost on the fly, she's like, oh, you know, I know what to do. And she came up with an idea to get Starlight out of the picture by luring her away by saying, here, I'll help you, start planning out your lessons and all that, for the students. And then when it came to Naysay, yeah, it took a bit longer for her, but she found the exact moment she needed to, get Naysay out of the way by basically turning his words against him and then basically reminding the students, hey, are you going to really trust this guy who, when the school opened, tried to close it down and everything and tried to remove the princess from power? And, it's like, you can't get any better of a villain, even if she's a filly, or is she? I still have my doubts about that. Than what she was doing. You couldn't get any better. I mean, even when the Student 6 tried to remove the artifacts to try to save Starlight and try to restore the magic, she again, on the fly, was coming up with an idea to get the students to side with her to go against them. And it temporarily worked until they noticed, oh, wait a minute, these guys just saved one of their friends. They just sacrificed themselves to save one of their friends. What the hey? It's like that moment right there is, okay, and that moment right there is what she didn't predict. It's like she didn't predict, oh, okay, they're going to sacrifice themselves to save the other. But still, it's like that's the moment I think the student body started to realize, wait a minute, something doesn't seem right here. Shouldn't we be doing something? And, yeah. And Cozy's like, no big deal, whatever. That's their fault, da-da-da. It's like that's, I think, when the student body started to realize something was, not connecting. But anyway, besides that, Cozy Glow as a villain was, as I said before, was the kind of villain they needed. One that even on the fly seemed to always have a plan and seemed to be a step ahead. Like I said, even if they had to come up with something right at the spur of the moment. So overall, those are a lot of good positives that outweigh the negatives when you think about it. The negatives, yes, are basically two different writers writing two different parts individually, the story feeling rushed and stuff. That did feel like a negative. But overall, the positives from Cozy Glow being, a very good villain, probably the best villain they've had in a while, and as I said, the kind of villain that was necessary for this show, to the artistic background and the detail on the overall design of the episode, from the, like I said, the background to the characters and all that, made it feel very movie quality like. To even some of the moments, the lines and everything. I mean, heck, for Starlight to be sassy towards Twilight, like saying, "Are you sure you didn't cast your spell wrong?" or something like that. When Twilight tried to justify to Starlight, "Oh, well, maybe you didn't cast the spell right to keep the students floating or standing on the clouds," and for Starlight to kind of turned that around on Twilight. That was a good moment. You know, the moment where Rarity, I'm still going to stick with this, the moment when Rarity speaks up and speaks up to Twilight, thinking, oh, Twilight's going to go out on her own. Twilight's going to go off to Tartarus on her own, only for her to realize, whoa, what did you just say? Because, because basically her line is, oh, no, you're not about to, whoa. So that was a good moment. So overall, some of the funny moments in there, like, Tirek realizing, oh, wait a minute, you're right. Even if you're stuck here, so am I. That's not good. Because I think, honestly, if you look at it from a continuity, from a storyline perspective, Tirek was probably thinking, oh, I'm going to have the main six and the main six and Spike here. And that was another hilarious moment, Spike having to remind Tirek, there's 7 of us. So, and then, like I said, Tirek realizing, wait a minute, they're going to be stuck here, so am I. Because I think he thought, honestly, once all the magic was drained, he'd be able to get out of there with Cozy Glow's help, only to probably realize Cozy Glow basically tricked him as well. So, yeah, overall, the positives definitely outweighed the negatives, and that's what I think a majority of fans are looking at, the fact that the positives here outweighed a lot of the negatives. And yeah, there are some negatives. Like I mentioned, if you want more information on that, you can check out Ms. Anthropony's YouTube channel and what he had to say about it. And that's MAP for short. And yeah, he'll talk about some of the negatives. But overall, the general consensus from what he has said, from what Dr. Wolf has said, I'm pretty sure what other fans may say during some of the React videos we're going to get, like the Brony Reacts video, the Bronies analysis React video, whatever, the TF2 analysis reaction video to it. I think the overall consensus is going to be, yeah, there are some flaws, but it's overall a good finale. Not, is it better than Shadow Play? Some would say yes, and some would say no. But and some would say it's about the same. So overall, everybody, like I said, the overall consensus is everybody enjoyed it. I mean, going back to Cozy Glow, the one thing they liked about her character, besides being who she was, being always a step ahead, even on the fly, and having to alter her plans on the fly, to be a step ahead or to stay a step ahead. What they liked about her is the fact that in the end, even in defeat, she felt no remorse. She did not want to be redeemed. She did not want a chance to redeem herself or make up for what she did. She felt no remorse. Even to the point that she was determined to continue her plan elsewhere if she couldn't do it at the School of Friendship. I mean, heck, she even mocked the elements. When the students told Twilight, hey, just because you failed her doesn't mean you failed us. You succeeded with us. And the fact that Cozy Glow just straight out mocks the elements by saying honesty, generosity, loyalty, blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh my gosh, you talk about someone that is not someone that's unredeemable. And the fact that she got placed in Tartarus, a lot of people would say some people will debate, that being a suitable punishment for her. But basically, if you add everything together, add everything that was happening, everything that was part of a plan that was happening, and it involved almost every character involved, some would say that is a suitable punishment, and some would say that was her plan the entire time. Yeah, if I lose, I'll just come up with a plan. Or, again, what I'm saying is that a lot of people, even MAP and Dr. Wolf, and some people, like I said, the message boards, have all said that her being sent to Tartarus, was part of her plan too. Like, she knew, even if she failed and she got sent to Tartarus, she was going to have a plan that was going to all be part of her plan, or part of a backup plan, or something like that. So, overall, the general consensus, and I know I'm saying that a lot, so I do apologize, the general overall consensus and reaction is a positive one. So yeah, mostly you got positive reviews, all positive reactions and reviews all the way around from people like Dr. Wolf, aka Dr. Wolf 001, Ms. Anthropony, aka Map, to Dark Horse KC. I think even kind of gave it a good review. And congratulations to Dark Horse KC for becoming a national champion. But yeah, overall, everybody has given it somewhat of a general, basically an overall positive, and have given it an overall positive thumbs up, basically a positive outlook. So we'll just have to wait what other people have to say, other fans have to say. But let me know what you guys think about the overall reactions that we've gotten so far from those of Dark Horse KC, Dr. Wolf, Miss Anthropony, aka Map, and many others here on YouTube and maybe the message boards and the fandom in general. Let me know what you guys think. And that's all I'm going to really say on it, guys. So till next time, God bless, take care, and I'm out.